We're gonna go see somebody's build today. Let's go. Okay, ready? There we go. Look what this guy's got in his backyard. All right, well, I'm here with Mac. Mac is the owner of that. Look at all that space and all that. I tell you what, when he was showing me around, I was coveting. I'm sorry, I was coveting. But he's got a garage that will leave any person who does stuff in garages wishing and wanting. And also with us is Chuck. Chuck is the wire master. He has done some projects where you've looked at cars and you wonder when they're going to finish the wiring, and he's tucked them all away and just makes everything work without seeing how it's working. And you're going to help me on my bike, right, when we're tucking away some of those wires? Awesome. But you've got a really cool project you're working on right now.
Yeah, my daughter talked me into buying a Volkswagen bus for her.
Okay.
And it originally came with a fuel injected engine, but somebody had put an old carbureted engine in it, couldn't keep it running and all that. So Chuck and I had been talking about an old Subaru motor he had. Said, why don't we put a Subaru motor in it? Okay. Well, instead of using his, I got T-boned in my Subaru, so I bought it back from the insurance company for $80 and said, that's what we're putting in here.
Nice. Let's take a look at this Subaru engine, and then we'll kind of look at the body it's going to go into. All right, awesome. This is the engine you were telling me about. So this came off of your Subaru.
97 Subaru Legacy Outback, 2.5 liter EJ engine.
Wow.
EJ 25.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming this isn't stock.
No, that actually is stock. For this, all of this right now is all Subaru stuff.
Stock.
With the exception of, we just talked about the throttle body reverser.
Okay.
Because the throttle body normally would fit out this way, but it would run into the firewall.
Gotcha.
And so you put the reverser on there, so it'll bring it out this way. So the airbox and all will now go over into the spare tire carrier to suck air.
Okay, we'll take a look at that when we look at the bus. But so then you must have just then had this chromed.
It was, yeah, powder coated.
Powder coated. I have not seen. I remember I worked in the sign industry for a while, and we tried to get some stuff powder coated chrome, and it did not come up as shiny as that. That is nice. You have a good powder coater.
It's very good powder. One of the best.
We also powder coated we painted the engine, but we powder coated the valve covers on the end.
Okay. Okay, so this is all powder coated.
But powder coated to match the engine paint.
Yeah. I love those colors. Very 80s.
Yeah. And then it's a complementary color. The bus is going to be orange and white.
Orange and white,
when it's done. Yeah.
Nice. That is sweet. Now you got the tranny it matches that as well, right?
Yes.
The bowels of the shop. Check that out. That matches beautifully.
And the transfer case.
Now this is
Volkswagen.
Okay.
Volkswagen transaxle.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's the Volkswagen.
Now this is a Volkswagen and Audi automatic transmission 3-speed.
Oh, okay.
So, this here
Wow.
couples onto here.
Okay, gotcha. Nice.
And then on the transfer case, right here, will be the adapter plate that adapts the Volkswagen bus to the Subaru engine.
Oh, gotcha.
Company called Kennedy Engineering Products.
Did that.
Yeah, KEP.
So this is, you call this a Busaroo?
Yeah, just switch the B and the S in Subaru and it becomes a Busaroo.
A Busaroo.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is something people are doing a lot of.
Many people have done it. In fact, there is a a guy that has a Busaru video series.
Oh.
It's a 15-part video series. He breaks each section down, and then the wiring is one section, and he has a 10-part subsection of the wiring. Goes through how to strip the wiring harness. When I bought the Subaru from the insurance company, we stripped it down to bare metal, to bare frame. We took out the entire wiring harness, and then that's what Chuck's going to help me do is and with the help of this video series that the guy has on the Busaru, to cull out all the wires that are unnecessary, but salvage all the stuff that we need for the engine to communicate,
Right.
you know, and still operate properly.
Let's take a look at this wiring
Okay.
harness that you salvaged.
Okay.
Holy cow, Chuck.
He understands.
How do you make sense of all that?
It's a mass airflow sensor.
Okay.
The connector on it. That's going to go into the intake for the throttle body. This is a dash. Just got started on this. We're going to, it fits in here. We're going to add a tachometer instead of the clock. We're going to relocate the clock into the center console we're going to make, so that it's still in the bus, but we're going to take the Subaru tachometer and install it in here. This is the original clock.
Okay.
In the electrical, we're going to
One interesting thing is the computer, right here. The computer, we modified the bracket slightly. It will slide right into where the Volkswagen computer fit. When you see the bus, you'll see it slides right into the original bracket that housed the computer for the fuel injected engine that it had.
Compartment right behind there where we'll do all the connections and everything to keep them out of sight, and then all the loom will all be cleanly installed in underneath so that it'll hide away to keep it out of
That's
sight.
awesome. And what is that unit right there? That box? Yeah.
This one, that's the body control module, and this here one's for like the cruise control.
Okay.
And
Fuse
then
pan, or no, that's the.
yeah. Now what's unique about this is over here on the engine, these three plugs right here will accommodate all the wiring,
Okay.
except for of course like the starter or the alternator. But this is all the engine sensors, injectors, and everything will all be
Wow.
TPS and all that's going to be all managed through that.
This is really going to be kind of like what I'm into is the techno relic type thing. So this is kind of a techno relic.
Yeah.
I mean, you're updating it to some modern features, just keeping the character of
Yeah,
the
right,
original.
exactly. We have the
That's the Volkswagen
Volkswagen
fuel
fuel
level sensing unit.
Okay.
which is original. We had a company over in Phoenix weld up the original port for the fuel, and then cut and install a flange into this tank and modify the whole fuel pump assembly for the Subaru,
This part's Volkswagen, this part's Subaru.
so that the Subaru fuel pump assembly fits in there, which
So
will
from
mate directly up to the engine.
So from the fuel pump all the way through the fuel lines to the engine until it gets to the transmission where it becomes Volkswagen again.
Right.
The Busaru video series is where I got the idea for the radiator placement. It's one of about 5 different choices you have for radiators, but it's the most elegant system out there. You use 2 radiators from a 97 Honda Civic. It fits like a glove in here on the side panel. I have one on each side. The engine will feed into this side of the radiator. A crossover tube will connect to the radiator on this side, which has, would be pointed that direction. So it'll be just a straight tube there. And right there is where we'll put the fill unit. So you'll fill it from the engine compartment access panel inside the bus. And then the bottom of this port of this radiator will then feed into the engine. So it's a complete closed loop system, just cut in half. The airflow that's on the side of the bus for the normal air-cooled engine feeds down into this compartment here. So this will be all blocked off, so the air will have a fan mounted on the front of the radiator right here. So it will actually pull enough suction that it would hold a piece of paper up there against the side of the of there.
And so you got that on both sides.
Yeah.
Kind of
Exactly.
reminiscent of the air ducts of the supercars.
Yeah. And from previous people that have done it, the left radiator run about 20 degrees hotter than the right side, just because obviously the hot air is getting cooled some there, but then it comes over to the other side, gets cooled some more before it goes back into the engine.
That is really cool.
The fuel tank goes right in here. This is the stock location for the Volkswagen fuel tank. We thought about trying to put the Subaru in there, but it's perfectly sized for the Volkswagen, and the Subaru tank was too big, which is why we came up with the idea of using it from the fuel pump forward. We did have to shorten the fuel pump to get it to fit into the Volkswagen tank. This is where the computer goes, right in this hole right here.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so, like I said, that new one will mount right up in there. Then there's an access panel, so we can get to the wiring in it.
Wow. And so it looks like you've been started to work on your body.
Yeah, I got a little
Got
help
this
from
all-
somebody with that. Still got some more to do, but yeah, this side was completely rusted out because that's where the battery tray sits in the Volkswagen, and the battery acids and all just accelerate the rusting and the corrosion there. So we replaced the whole panel there. On this side, we do have a little bit of rust from water damage and stuff, so we're just going to replace this small section right there. Here's the old panel and why we just chose to replace the whole thing, because it was pretty beat up.
Wow, must have been really bad right in here.
Yeah. Well, that's where I cut out this piece, because originally I was I forgot that this didn't have the hole in it, because I was thinking, oh, we'll take the hole that on this side was good, and I was going to use that to put over here as a patch piece. But now that we realize that there's no hole here, we're going to get rid of the hole on that side as well.
Just cover it up.
Yeah, I don't know the purpose of it. We can't figure out. It's not really a drain hole because it sits much higher than the shelf in here. So it's like
Not a bumper.
you can still have it. No, it's not a bumper attachment. The bumper's down here. So not sure what it's there for. Some Volkswagen geek can call me and tell me and say, hey, in the comments can say, hey, you idiot, that was for this. But
Any of our Volkswagen fans out there, let us know if you know what those holes are for. It'd be interesting to find out.
Now the seats.
Oh
That's
yeah,
about
the
the
seats.
seats.
You mentioned you kind of did some customization.
Frankensteining of them. Well, the bus didn't come with headrests in it. It did originally, but there were no headrests. I couldn't find any, and so we said, I'll just take the ones off the old Subaru seats that I ripped out of the Subaru, and I was originally just going to take off this part and mount it to the Volkswagen seat, and then I got to look, and it's like, well, I got this stuff up in here, maybe I'll just cut it here. And then I said, well, there's a lumbar down here, why don't we just go a little lower? And then by that time it's like, well, why don't we just put the whole stupid thing on here and mount it. So we made some brackets to mount the Subaru back of the seat to the Volkswagen bottom, because we couldn't use the Subaru on the bottom because it sat too high, because the rails for the Volkswagen seat are unique to it. So we kind of pieced the two together, and voila, we have a seat for.
It fully reclines.
Yeah, we kept all the recline mechanism and stuff. So which right here.
So is
Step
this
on that
one
one.
here a finished product then?
Yeah.
This is almost finished.
Almost.
This one you just got to put the
Yeah. Just get it
Wow.
reupholstered.
Nice.
So, and the lumbar support will work now still. So.
There you go. That's what
And
a.
this is it together.
So what's up next?
So now that it's rolling again, we can, like I said, get the welding finished up, and get the windows out and send it to paint and body, and hopefully have it come back in its new colors. It's going to be orange and white instead of the brown and white that it currently is.
You talked about your suspension and everything like that. Are you keeping it like a stock suspension? Or are you?
It's going to be
lower
pretty
it?
much stock. No, it was lowered before, and every time you went over a bump, you could hear metal on metal because they had notched out the spring plates, and it was it was hitting metal on metal. So I got new spring plates. We rebuilt the whole, like I said, repacked everything in the rear axle, new bearings, new shocks, everything. So it's rebuilt back to pretty much stock there.
Awesome.
Yeah, Chuck's got some of his wires in here now, but we had a friend put in a roll cage in the front. My daughter originally, you noticed the new panel on the front, my daughter had a little fender bender in it, and my wife and her started getting worried about, there's nothing up here to stop in an accident or whatever. So see, we had this roll cage put in that starts up in here, and then it comes back and welds, so it welds into the frame of the car in the front and the rear, so it just kind of protects the passenger compartment a little more.
Nice.
So they feel safer. The other issue that people had with the Volkswagen buses was the way it was originally designed. They had the fuel lines that were right over some of the distributor parts and stuff, so there were some issues with buses catching on fire and all that. Well, with the Subaru motor, we won't have any of those issues. We've redesigned the fuel system and eliminated those problem areas.
Well, that is a project indeed.
Yes.
One worth checking out as we go along. So I can't wait to see how it turns out from the paint and body shop.
Yeah.
You'll give me a call when that's done,
Yep.
and we'll come over and check it out and see how that goes. So after that's done, you're going to work on then putting the engine in?
We'll start putting the engine in, and we'll do a couple of test matings to make sure everything's lined up, figure out if we have any clearance issues with anything, and get it in and running hopefully within a few months, and then start playing with all the inside stuff.
Yeah. Start doing all the beauty on the inside.
Yeah, exactly.
That headliner doesn't look too bad. I just noticed there's this one little.
Yeah, we'll probably completely redo it.
Redo the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole thing. We're gonna use some ceramic paint stuff to insulate and seal it for heat value and sound deadening.
Well, we are in Arizona, right?
Yes. Thus the need for the air conditioning. All the other guys that do these projects are worried about getting the heat up to the front, for the heat boxes and stuff, because they have them in Colorado and all these cold places. I don't care about the heat. I'm worried about the cool.
The cool, yeah. Got to keep it cool. Well, thank you so much for showing me around.
Oh, you bet.
And being part of your build.
Yeah. Well, this is my pre-retirement build. In a couple years, it's going to be a full-time hobby.
Yeah. Well, I noticed you got the space for it, and you showed me some of your other projects you've got for
lined
the future.
Up. Oh yes.
And they look like they're going to be fun.
I have enough to keep me busy in my retirement for a long time.
Thank you very much for Mac and for Chuck for showing us the project and what's going on. If you guys have any questions for Mac or Chuck, feel free to just put in comments below. Mac is a big Mac and Chuck watch the show, so I'm sure they'll be able to see any comments and answer any of your questions for you. And obviously you can send emails to the bigzsgarage@gmail.com, and I can forward those on to the guys as well. But anyways, thanks for having me over.
You bet. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right. Was that cool or what? Well, there you have it. That is the end of this episode. Thank you so much for watching us and coming to this point in the video. Now, hey, look. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. It's simple, it's easy. It's that button right in here somewhere. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. The button's right here. Not too hard, just push that button. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, push it. Yeah, good job. If you haven't subscribed already, please do. Doesn't take very long. You just have to move your mouse right there, or your finger if you're watching this on a phone. Please take a moment to push this button right down here, this big long one that says subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, it'll be red. So turn that into a gray subscribe button, and give us a like, or smash that dislike button. I don't care, whichever way you want to do it. But also leave us a comment. Tell us below how we're doing. And I just can't get this right. Until next time, I haven't come up with a good ending phrase yet. Maybe you in the comments below can give me a good tagline to finish off the show with. My mind is blank. Well, either way, until next time, we'll see ya.